I'm Erin. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep stretch yoga class. This class is designed to help you build flexibility and simultaneously calm the mind and get into a peaceful, relaxed state. So if you have props available to you, I would recommend having 1 or 2 blocks or a bolster, which I don't have a bolster, so this is just a pillow from my house. So you might want to grab a pillow. You won't necessarily need these, but sometimes these can aid us in getting deeper into the postures. So the way we're actually going to start today, if you do have a nice round bolster, you might want to use your bolster. I'm not going to use the pillow I'm going to use blocks. Okay, and if you have neither, don't worry about it. We're going to start on our backs. So if you do have blocks or a bolster, go ahead and place the block underneath your back, right below the little wings of your shoulder blades. And if you have 2 blocks, you might want to take the other block. Let me just lean back and show you here. Okay, so you can just start right here and rest. Oh, it feels so good. And rest the head back. If this makes you feel dizzy or place the other block at any height underneath your head. Okay, I've got a really thin block, so this isn't super comfortable, but if you have a thicker block, this might feel nice to you. And if you have a bolster, just take the bolster and place it the length of your spine. I'll try and show you here with my pillow, just the length of your spine. You'll lay back on it, and you see my pillow is just a little too cushy and wide. Anyway, so go ahead and set yourself up, and again, with no props, just lay down on your back, okay? And take my little block here, lay back. I'm not going to use the other block for my head. I'm just going to rest my head back on the floor. And then we're going to take the feet and bring the soles of the feet together into a Baddha Konasana shape, butterfly shape. And then let the knees rest open. And then option to have the hands placed on the body if that feels good, or you can place them down on the floor. And then start to take some nice deep breaths in this position. So this is just a great way to open up the throat and the shoulders. And obviously we're going to open up the hips as the knees fall open. And again, if this is too much, feels really uncomfortable, just rest the legs long. So right away, just see if you can move into a place of relaxation. So we can do this by closing the eyes, deepening the breath, and really bringing our awareness and our attention to the breath. Making each inhale and each exhale a little bit longer. Excuse me. Just have about 3 more breaths here. Last breath. Make this one your longest and fullest yet. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And start to draw the knees back toward one another, feet flat to the floor. Then we're just going to roll one side or the other, doesn't matter which way, onto the side. Remove the block out from underneath us, place it to the side, and extend the legs long. I'm gonna keep that left leg extended nice and long, flat to the floor, and draw the right knee into the chest. Interlace fingers around the knee. Flex the toes back toward the knee, draw the elbows in. Then you can stay here. If you want to go a little deeper into the hip, just draw that right knee around the right ribs and then closer to the shoulder. Three more breaths here. Last breath, maybe pull that knee a little bit further in. Good. And then relax the grip on the knee. Just bring the knee back towards center if it's not already. Bring that foot a little bit higher up so you have a 90-degree angle in your leg, and then we're gonna take a twist. So we're gonna bring that right knee to the left and extend the right arm to the right. Working toward pressing that right shoulder flat to the floor if we can. Palm can face up or face down, whatever's more comfortable. If that's too much of a stretch, you can bring your arm into a 90-degree angle. Last breath here. And come back through center. Extend that right leg long on the mat. And draw the left knee in toward the chest. Hands around the knee. You can stay right here. Get active in the feet, flexing the toes back toward the knees. Or to get a little deeper into the hip, just start to draw that left knee around the ribs and closer up toward the shoulder. But work toward keeping the elbows in, hips and shoulders flat to the floor. Keep the face soft and the breath flowing. Last breath here. Draw that leg back towards center. Lift the heel a little bit so you have a 90-degree angle in your leg. And then we're going to draw the right knee toward the right. And extend the left arm to the left. Palm can face down. Palm can face up. Arm can be in goalpost. Working toward getting that left shoulder flat to the floor. And this is our last breath here in this twist. Unwind, come back towards center. Draw both knees into the chest. Work the shoulders to the floor, work the tailbone toward the floor. Ultimately, we want our spine flat on the floor. If the knees aren't very far in, just keep a nice gentle grip either on the knees or the thighs. If the knees are pretty far in and you want to reach opposite hand toward opposite wrist, opposite hand toward opposite elbow. Last breath here. Relax the grip on the knees. Take a couple little rolls on your spine. We're going to come all the way through down onto our belly. We're going to get some shoulder stretches. So from here, on our belly, let's take the right arm off to the right. Palm is going to face down. We're going to press into that left hand, and we're going to roll to the right as we lift that left leg up and over. We're going to stamp that foot flat to the floor, and then just gently release the right ear to the floor. So we're obviously getting a little stretch in the hip as well as the shoulder. You can experiment with this stretch by moving the right hand closer toward the top of the mat, closer toward the bottom of the mat. You're going to feel a different sensation. Just find that place for you that feels like a really beautiful deep stretch with no pain. Let's roll back through center. We're going to do that on the other side. So take the left hand out to the left, palm faces down. Right arm is bent, we're pressing into the right palm. And then we're going to bring our right leg up and over. Left ear to the floor, right foot to the floor. And then roll back to center. And place the hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to take either low lift, medium lift, or high lift cobra, depending on your flexibility. We're just going to stretch out the front side of our body now. So elbows are going to draw in, hands right underneath the shoulders. Lift up, lift through the crown of the head. You can hold that position, or hands will draw back more by the ribs. Take it up a little bit more. It's going to depend on your spinal flexibility. You can draw your hands back even more. Come all the way up so the shoulders are stacked over the wrists. Okay, but the hips continue to release toward the floor, soft bend in the elbows, head stays in line with the spine wherever you are. Last breath. And from whatever position you're in, we're going to press back to a child's pose just to release the back. So knees will come a little bit wider than hip distance apart, toes together, hips to heels. Walk the hands forward, release the forehead to the mat. That should feel really good after that cobra. Continuing to stretch out the hips as we draw the hips closer to the heels. If this feels like too much with the arms extended, you can always rest the forehead on the hands. Exhale here. And then start to walk the hands back. All right, from here, we're gonna come into Malasana. So you're just gonna start to tuck those toes under and rock your hips back. All right, your feet are gonna be out at a slight angle. We're gonna sit the hips low. So make any adjustments here. If you don't have very flexible ankles and the heels aren't touching the floor, you can take a little blanket or a towel and prop your heels up and rest your heels on the towel. And draw those elbows to the knees and the hands to the heart. And just find a nice tall spine. So this is a very, very deep hip opener. So we're gonna hold it. Might feel a little intense. If it does, just kind of back off, give your hips a little bit of a break and come back into it. This is really, really good for the low back as well. If you can, just close down the eyes. Try and rest in the breath. One more breath here. Okay, so you can come to a seat and shake your legs out. Hopefully you're feeling something happening in your hips, or you can just stand up, hands to the floor, and just shake your legs out, shake your hips out. All right, we're gonna come back to a seat. From here, we're gonna start moving from one posture to the next. So I'll give you some modifications as we go along. We're gonna start in a half hero forward fold. So half hero, we're gonna start with the left leg back. So you're gonna take that left leg back, shin comes to the floor, the sole of your foot is gonna face up, and then we're gonna draw the knees together. Okay, so modification is to prop yourself up on a block. If you have a really tight knee, my knees are a little bit tight, so that's an option. And if this is just too much altogether, then take that left sole of the foot to the right inner thigh. Okay, so we're gonna take the forward fold first. It's gonna be a nice stretch to the hamstring. If you have a strap, you can put it around your foot. Find a tall spine, so lift the arms up overhead and then come forward. If you find that you're falling off to one side, like I have a tendency to do, just take that right hand and use it as a prop. the way up from the fold. And now we're gonna, from the front, we're gonna open that leg. So the left leg is gonna stay in half hero. We're gonna bring it off to an angle, and then this right foot is also gonna come off to an angle. Again, too much on the knee, left foot to right inner thigh. All right, so we're gonna take a side stretch first and a twist. So bring that right hand to the left knee. Left arm is gonna reach up and over for the toes. So if you can't reach the foot, no worries. If you're a little bit tight in the side, you can always use that right hand instead of reaching for the left knee on the floor and reach up and over. You're still gonna feel this beautiful stretch in your left side. So wherever we are, let's release. And from here, we're just gonna take it forward. Okay, so you're just gonna start to walk your hands forward. Maybe we stay here today. Maybe we stay upright with the hands behind us, just working on a nice long spine. So my pillow blew away. I'm taking my pillow. If you have a pillow or a bolster, you really want to relax into this pose. You can just take your pillow out in front of you and just, or your bolster, just get comfortable. So it's a nice combo. It's probably not going to be comfortable like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep in this position, because you are getting a really deep stretch. It might feel a little intense. But to the best of your ability in this deep stretch practice, try to just calm the mind, calm the breath, and get as comfortable as you can while also feeling sensation and letting the body open up. So the calmer you are, the easier it is for the body to open, okay? Because you're not all tensed up and stressed. We're going to start to release from the fold. So again, if you feel anything happening in your left knee and it's just getting to be too much, just release from this position. Otherwise, we're going to draw the left knee back to center, just like we were in half hero forward fold. And now we're going to take it to a reclined position. Okay, so in this reclined position, it is going to be a back bend. Okay, so you are going to have a little arch in your spine. I recommend just taking the hands out behind you, really opening up through the chest, nice long spine. You can stay here. If this is where we are today, this is great. If you want to keep coming back, maybe we come onto the elbows. Maybe we come all the way down onto the back. Arms can be alongside the body, up overhead. Last breath here. Very slowly make your way out of it. All the way back up. All right, let's release that left leg. Should feel good. I always like to give myself a little shake and just kind of get the blood flowing back in there. And then we'll take a seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. You can stay here, lifting into staff pose, Dandasana, or if you'd like to take the forward fold, getting into the hamstrings, you can just start to reach the hands toward the thighs, shins, calves, or feet. And release. All right, so let's take that sequence on the other side, starting in half hero forward fold. So we're just gonna draw that right leg back. Right shin comes to the floor, sole of the foot faces up. Both sitting bones are on the floor. If this is too intense, take a block. I've had knee surgery on this knee twice, so this knee is very, very tight for me. So I really appreciate having a prop. And then we'll find a nice long spine, arms up overhead, and we're gonna fold over that left leg. And again, if you feel like you're falling off to one side, you can just place that hand off to the side to balance yourself. Start to release from the fold. I'm gonna stay just as you are on your mat. I'm gonna go ahead and face you now. We're just gonna bring that right knee off to an angle, and then we're gonna bring the left leg also off to an angle. Okay, so we're gonna take the side bend and twist first. You can take that left hand toward the right knee, reach the right arm up and over for the left toes. Okay, so once again, can't reach the toes, no worries. Take that left hand behind and reach that right arm up and over. Just feel this really nice, beautiful stretch on your right side. Go ahead and release from the side bend. Once again, if you have a pillow bolster, you can grab it. If not, no worries. You can stay lifted here, working on a long spine, or start to walk the hands forward. I'm gonna get into the inner thighs and hips here. Try to avoid hunching or rounding too much into the shoulders, instead staying lengthened, shoulders away from ears. And don't forget, the modification is the leg in, inner thigh instead. You can still have this beautiful stretch forward. Get a little more time here to experiment with the body, really tune in. So as always, you should feel sensation but no pain. And with a deep stretch class, really just working as much as we can toward relaxation in the pose, depth in the breath. Wherever you are, start to release from the fold. And this is our last one, so I know you're feeling it in your knee now and your hip. We're gonna come into reclined half hero. So you can stay upright, hands behind the back, chest lifted, elbows maybe all the way down onto the back. This is a back bend, so your low back is going to be lifted off the floor. Nice big stretch in the right quad. Like I said, my right knee is a little bit tighter, so I'm trying to draw that right knee toward the left, working flexibility in that knee joint. But it is a little work for me. Maybe arms up overhead. We're reclined. We'll make our way upright. We're gonna release that right leg. A little shake, a little blood back in there. Now we're gonna forward fold this time with Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So this time we're gonna draw the feet together. We're gonna do two variations of this pose. So first variation, we're gonna draw those feet in close. Sitting up tall, elbows come toward the knees. I'm gonna start to forward fold, reaching the crown of the head forward, shoulders away from the ears. Last two breaths here. Go ahead and release the forehead toward the toes, getting a nice stretch in your upper back and spine. Release from the fold, and then second variation, we're gonna bring those feet further out so we have a diamond shape in our legs. You're gonna feel a different stretch here. So from this diamond shape, once again, we'll start to hinge forward, walking the hands forward. Keep a nice long spine for 3 breaths. Last 2 breaths, start to release the forehead toward the feet. And just find a gentle rounding in the upper back. and release. All right, so from this position, we're gonna start to move into Kurmasana, or tortoise pose. I'm gonna face you. You can stay where you are on your mat if you'd like. So we have this nice big diamond shape in the legs. And we're gonna start reaching our hands underneath our legs. Elbows are coming toward the backs of the knees. Okay, so palms are spread nice and wide. And let's hold here, releasing the forehead toward the feet. And then we're gonna start walking the feet out and the arms back, okay? Arms are gonna start coming back, feet are gonna start spreading out. Keep walking those heels forward. And eventually we're working towards straight legs, forehead to the floor. Maybe chest toward the floor. So palms are spread wide, arms are back, feet are forward. So sliding those hands back, sliding those feet back in. I'll give you one more little option here. We're gonna cross right foot on top of left, and we're gonna walk the hands back around the hips now. Okay, you can take the hands and just rest them on the floor, rest them on the hips, or if you can, which I can't, if you can, you maybe bind behind the back, so you clasp the fingers. My shoulders aren't quite that open yet, but I'm working in that direction, okay? So if you're in some variation of this position and the right ankle is crossed over the left, we're gonna switch it. So just a couple more breaths. So switch left ankle on top of right. So release the hands, separate the feet, start walking them apart from one another so that you can slide those arms out. Give those shoulders a little roll, neck a little roll. All right, let's take one more big shoulder stretch. Hips are nice and open, so we're gonna take a cow face pose. I'm gonna bring the left leg on the bottom first and the right knee on top. Wanna get those sitting bones grounded on the floor. If that's a little too much, you can prop yourself up on top of a block. Makes it a little bit easier to keep that tall spine. Feet can be back by the hips, or we can start walking the shins a little closer to parallel with the mat. Okay, and take that right arm up and over. Maybe we stay here, taking that left hand onto the right elbow, working the fingertips down the back, or we work toward the bind behind the back. Last breath here. And release. Your hands will shake, shoulders a little wiggle. I'm going to show you the pose from the back this time. We're just going to switch legs. So right leg on bottom, left leg on top. And we'll start working those shins parallel. It's okay if the feet are back by the hips or we're propped up on a block. Nice tall spine. And then we're going to take that left arm up and over, right arm behind. Tall spine. Last breath here. Release the hands, maybe a little shake, little roll of the shoulders. And then we're going to start to roll down onto our backs. So move around so that the body's in a comfortable position. And just let the feet fall open. Palms are going to face up. Our final posture of class, Shavasana, corpse pose. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose, fill all the way up. Let it go through the mouth. Then just let go of the breath. Come back to the natural rhythm. Try to find stillness in this pose. Stay in your Shavasana as long as you have time for. When you are ready, come out of it very slowly. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. Namaste.